Dana White joins Logan Paul. Who thought those words would ever come out of my mouth? Joins Logan Paul on his podcast for an interview. Talk about a bunch of things, but one of the biggest things was the possibility that Logan Paul and Jake Paul go over to the UFC. Dana says for Jake Paul, and I'm quoting right now, probably not. No to Jake Paul, won't fight Conor McGregor. He shouldn't be fighting Conor McGregor. The guy is huge. What is he, 6'1", 210? Conor fights at 145, 155. There's weight classes for a reason. It's a stretch for Conor to even fight 170. He fought Nate there, but it's not his weight class, not even close. And then when asked about Logan Paul potentially coming over, he said, who would you fight? You have wrestling and boxing, so it's different from like the Jake thing. You've done jiu-jitsu, right? I'm not saying no.
Didn't Jake's wrestled? I think Logan was a better wrestler than Jake.
I believe so. Yeah,
but
I
Jake
think Logan
wrestled
was
also.
a better wrestler.
He's looking for a way to say no to Jake. And
Of course he is. You know why?
Yeah.
Logan has not pushed Dana's buttons. A guy named Jake has. He's done a whole lot of stuff, and he's had some. Look at social media wise, he's 10-8, probably 10-7 on Dana right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I don't see either one of those guys fighting in the UFC. I don't see that happening. Specifically Jake. I mean, Jake's got a contract with Showtime for boxing. You know, I mean, I don't know how they would try to contractually hold him if he decided to go do MMA somewhere else. How the UFC held Conor. You know, like when he went and fought Mayweather, you know, they kind of had a piece of the pie kind of situation. So I don't know how they would work all that out, but something would happen. I mean, if it did, they wouldn't let Jake go anyways, I don't think. Yeah, while he's under contract. Logan, I think is free to do whatever he wants, I think.
Did Logan ever get paid by Floyd? I heard he didn't get paid.
I don't know. That's a Floyd thing.
That's a Floyd thing.
I don't know, man. I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, it's more Logan's fault for not having his lawyers look it over properly to make sure he got paid. Yeah.
Good point.
I mean, I've done a couple business things where I'm like, I send it back and forth to my lawyer, and everyone's like, "Oh, we got to get this thing signed now," and I'm like, "Okay, it ain't getting signed until he's done looking at it."
Signed when it gets signed.
You redline it, you send it back, they send it back, redline for them, and then they, believe it or not, they've erased some of your red lines. You got to go back through and redline it again. Yeah. It's got to make sense, so it takes time. I mean,
How
they were trying
dare
to rush
you
it,
take away my red line? How dare you?
No. I mean, people don't realize that that's what lawyers do. They're sneaky like that. They're like, oh, they won't notice this one little thing. And no, they go back over the contract, and lawyers read it all over. They read the whole thing again. It's not like they just read the points they redline. No, because they probably added it in somewhere else. So, it takes time. It takes a process. And they slapped that fight together pretty quick. So I'm sure the lawyers didn't have a chance to really airing it all out. And I think Floyd knew that. So he's like, yeah, I'm not paying that kid.
I don't think Dana would do anything for Jake unless he knew that he could make it to where Jake was going to get squashed. Then he might do it.
I agree. Next.
All right. Sticking to the theme of these Paul brothers, Jake Paul tweeted out, I believe there's been a follow-up since then, but Jake Paul tweeted out, Dana, since you like me now, how about a one-fight UFC deal to fight Conor? If I win, you agree to my UFC fighter pay and healthcare proposal. If I lose, I donate my entire purse to all UFC fighters who make less than $50K a fight and never mention UFC again. Deal?
Look, he just answered that in the Logan Paul interview. He's like, it doesn't make any sense. You're 210. Let's just say you're 200. Like, Conor's not 200. Conor's like maybe 185. That doesn't make any sense. And then when Conor's in shape, he's probably closer to 78, 76, somewhere in there. Doesn't make sense. I mean, he might not even be that big. I mean,
he's been looking pretty big lately.
He's looking kind of big right now. I get what you're saying, but he's not in fight shape.
No.
So, I mean, watching him hit the mitts, he didn't look like he was in fight shape. You know, I mean, he was laboring to move all that muscle around, John.
Hey,
he was clubbing the punches.
It does not make you better to be bigger.
100% agree.